Fantasy drafts approaching. Here's a few running backs I would target as handcuff options entering the fantasy football season. The first running back, Zach Charbonnet of the Seattle Seahawks. So last season, I thought Charbonnet was going to get more work for the Seattle Seahawks team and work in Kenneth Walker's workload a little bit. He's still got 108 carries, 462 rush yards, a touchdown, 33 catches, 209 receiving yards on 40 targets. Carroll gone. It's a whole new coaching staff, coordinators, and everything for the Seattle Seahawks team. And I believe Kenneth Walker to start the season will be the starter and get about 75-80% of the touches in the beginning of the year. With the Seattle Seahawks, they drafted Charbonnet in the second round 2 NFL drafts ago was the Seattle Seahawks team. And I thought he looked good at pass protection. He was catching the football out of the backfield at a decent rate. Better receiver, I believe, than Kenneth Walker. And he's a bruiser as a running back, is Zach Charbonnet. So he's more of an early downs and a short yardage back than anything, I believe, is Zach Charbonnet. And right now, where he's going in that 10th to 12th round range in most fantasy drafts is Charbonnet. He could be a lottery ticket handcuff for fantasy owners, because if Kenneth Walker goes down, I believe Charbonnet has upside to be a top 15, top 18 running back this season. Last season, we saw some flashes from him. Like I said, he does everything right. He's a physical running back, and you don't see a lot of DBs and even linebackers at time wanting to step up and put a big hit on a running back the same weight or more than them. So right now, I think Zach Charbonnet, where he's going ADP-wise, and the situation in Seattle with a whole new coaching staff and last season looking good, I think he's one of the top, if not the top, handcuff running backs going into the fantasy season. The next running back is Tyler Algier of the Atlanta Falcons. So Tyler Algier, we know he had a 1,000-yard season a couple years ago. Then they drafted Bijan Robinson, was this Atlanta Falcon team, and they also got a whole new coaching staff with finally Arthur Smith out of there, and he just didn't know how to run the team. But last season, Tyler Algier, a solid year, 186 carries, 683 rush yards, 4 touchdowns, added 18 catches, 193 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So Tyler Algier, he's going undrafted in your some basic 10 to 12 team leagues. Well, most likely he's going to go anywhere from that 12th to the 13th round range in most fantasy drafts. Like I said, he's a very talented runner. He got a lot of work last season, but I believe the work's going to be cut back with Bijan Robinson entering his second season, and obviously with a different coaching staff and more comfortable to the NFL life now is Bijan Robinson. But Tyler Algier, him and Zach Charbonnet, in my opinion, are the 1 and 2 top handcuffs going into the season. And if Bijan Robinson does go down, he's another running back that could have that top 15 to 18 potential as Algier. We saw him do it a full year a couple years ago where that Falcon offense wasn't good at all. They really had no one at quarterback, and now they got Kirk Cousins. And we even saw it last season. He looked good at times when early in the year they were splitting work for the most part, Bijan and Algier. So right now with him going late in fantasy drafts, and we know what Algier is capable of, he's still one of the best handcuffs in fantasy football. Next running back, Blake Corum of the Los Angeles Rams. So the Rams, they spent a pretty solid draft pick on Blake Corum, even though we know Kyren Williams came off the monster season last year. But Blake Corum, I believe, could be one of the best handcuffs in the league. Kyren Williams, he's had injury problems the last couple seasons. His rookie year last year missed 4 games. And Corum, they drafted him, was this Los Angeles Ram team in the 3rd round. Williams, he's a smaller back. Last season, he dealt with injuries. And Corum, early in the year, I think he'll get a few touches from that 5 to 8 range to just start the season to keep Kyren a little fresh. But if he goes down, Corum, he could be a big piece in this offense, just like we saw Kyren Williams last year take over early and often for Cam Akers, where he took that starting running back job over in only a couple games. So Blake Corum right now going in that 11th to 13th round range for fantasy owners. This offense is dynamic, and Sean McVay, he drafts players for a reason because he knows who's going to fit his system and who's not. We saw it last season with Puka Nacua, an unknown 5th round draft pick. Then we saw it with Kyren Williams last year as well, where he was a 3rd round pick a few seasons ago. And Blake Corum, God forbid something did happen to Kyren Williams and he steps in, he's going to fit like a glove in this offense. Same type of style runner as Kyren Williams. I know he's not the biggest of backs, but he's 5'8", 205, a bigger running back than a Kyren Williams. And if he goes down, he could be a lottery ticket as well as Blake Corum and have major upside potential. Next handcuffs, J.K. Dobbins of the Los Angeles Chargers. So we know Dobbins, he's a talented running back, no doubt about it. But injuries have always been a problem, and to stop and starting Dobbins' career and him to get better Last season was the latest case where he came off the torn Achilles. So this season he's going to start as the backup, most likely to Gus Edwards. But I believe Gus Edwards can't be an every down back. He's more of a short yardage and goal line back, in my opinion, is Gus Edwards. And J.K. Dobbins, a better receiver, more explosiveness, I still think. Even if he lost a step or two coming off the Achilles and an ACL a couple years ago, I think J.K. Dobbins, still at a young age, he could recover and he could be good and he could be a diamond in the rough for fantasy owners as well, where 13th, 14th round is J.K. Dobbins. So like I said, the potential is there, but the health hasn't been there over the last few seasons. Well, last year he only played one game and he started off well with 22 yards and a touchdown and 2 catches for 15 yards. I believe 10th of the year, Gus Edwards will be the back. But Dobbins, as the weeks go on, I think he's going to eat into that workload and possibly become the starting running back for this Los Angeles Charger team. And to get someone with potential like that in the 13th, 14th round, I believe it's great upside and definitely a running back to take as a handcuff in the 5th and final running back. I believe is a good handcuff option entering the seasons. Ty Chandler of the Minnesota Vikings. So Ty Chandler last season, he looked good and obviously was the better running back than Alexander Madison, who got cut loose and signed with the Vegas Raiders this offseason. So last year for Ty Chandler, 2 carries, 461 rush yards, 3 touchdowns. But in the passing game, he paid dividends. 21 catches, 159 receiving yards on 25 targets. So Chandler, he's an elusive back. He could cut left and right. And he's got good hands out of the backfield. I know this Minnesota Viking team, they got the solid veteran in Aaron Jones. But every season, you know, Aaron Jones is due to miss at least 2 to 4 games at minimum. So Aaron Jones signing with this Viking team on a 1-year deal. Ty Chandler, like I said, he looked good last season. And obviously was the better running back than Alexander Madison. And I believe entering the season, Ty Chandler, as someone in these late rounds as well, was a handcuff, 12th to the 15th round range. Definitely someone to target and fill out your bench, because like I said, if Aaron Jones goes down, Ty Chandler steps into a starting role right away. And with his catching prowess, I think he could be a decent option for fantasy owners as a mid to low end 2 back if Jones goes down. So that's a few running backs I would target as handcuffs entering the 2024 fantasy football season.